Welcome to the Friday free-for-all edition of the Nightly Nugent. Ted, it sounds to me like you had a free-for-all down in Mar-a-Lago with President Trump, and then you went on to play some great music down in Naples. So I can't wait, and our listeners can't wait.
Well, Keith, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. You're looking at a guy. My name is Ted Nugent. I'm the Motor City Madman. I'm the strap assassin #1. I'm Reverend Theodosius Atrocious, and I'm beyond precious and adorable. But most importantly, my son, Toby, Theodore Tobias Nugent, Shemaine, and I, we accomplished something last Thursday in Florida that Delta Force couldn't have done. Now, hear me out. We got on a private jet in Naples, and we flew through restricted airspace, and we landed in Palm Beach International to go perform the Star Spangled Banner for a Donald Trump winter gala event. And it turned out that he had an award, a freedom fighting award planned for me. But through restricted airspace and the miles-long caravan waiting to get into Mar-a-Lago, there's no way we would have got there in time, even though it was their schedule and their clock and their private jet. So Toby, I prodded the driver. We went past all the cars in the line, and Toby confronted the Secret Service, which are great guys, by the way. They almost shot him, but he went up and confronted the Secret Service and went, "No, this is my dad, Ted Nugent, a guest of President Trump in this car. We've got to go through this entrance. This is the side entrance that he told us. Nobody goes through here. This is Ted Nugent is an invited guest of President Donald Trump." Long story short, there was a little bit of this and that. And there was some, I saw some rifle barrels in the distance. And he finally got on the radio and went, "All right, come on through here." And so we barged through the side entrance to Mar-a-Lago, and we pulled in. Everybody wants a photo. Everybody wants an autograph. I'm humbled and honored and much appreciative for the love and the attention and the celebration of my truth, logic, and common sense A10 warthog lifestyle. But we have a job to do. We got to get through security. We went through by thousands of people to go through the metal detector. And unfortunately, I had all my hardware back in the plane, but I had a Victorinox knife I've had since 1973 in my pocket. And the Secret Service wanding me goes, "What's that?" I go, "That's my pocket." And he goes, "Let me hang on that for you because you got to get through here." So Toby's setting up the guitar and the amp, and Martha, President Trump's assistant, is up there with all these gazillionaires in their tuxedos. I had a black sport coat on and a camouflage shirt. And I got up there and I received this beautiful red, white, and blue American flag Eagle Freedom Fighter Award. And I made a statement. And I know my friends at the Nightly Nuge know that somehow there's divine intervention when my mouth starts to move. I gave a 15-minute speech, Keith, that pushed all the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness American dream buttons. I got those formal tuxedo-suited gazillionaires. You could see their eyes squint and their forehead furrow their brow, and their head would tilt. And I'm telling them stuff they needed to hear about supporting this great, great warrior, this status quo destroying leader, hero of America, Donald Trump. And I had them silent, and I had them laughing a few times because I was inspired to inject some street verbiage. I got some exciting rock and roll street verbiage inserted into my speech. And then I had to go through the audience. There are thousands of people. I had to go through this crowd. Everybody wanted to stop and talk, and I got to get my guitar. So I got the guitar, and I unleashed a Star-Spangled Banner, playing notes and frequencies and feedback, crescendos and arpeggios. God was confused. God didn't know he allowed simple men like Ted to unleash the guitar fire that I unleashed because of my spirit and my compassion, my passion for freedom and the great Donald Trump. And I'm telling you, there wasn't a dry eye in the house, Keith. All right. So now I got to get the hell out of there, get back on the private jet and fly down to Naples. And so everybody wants a picture on it. I didn't mean to be rude, but the Secret Service escorted me out, and I didn't grab my knife, but we got that later. And I got back on the plane. We flew down to Fort Myers. We got out, had another hot rod SUV waiting for us with a commando in it. And we hauled ass to the Hertz Center in Fort Myers in Estero, Florida. And there's Leonard Skinner and Ira Dean and the great Derek St. Holmes is waiting for me. Jim Brewer, this comedian. I'm going to send you pictures. I had this guy about giving birth. He was laughing so hard when I showed him some of the pictures that I have. You know, I told him Jim Brewer, I told him he was the second funniest man in the world that night. And then I got up on stage. And again, Keith, I am so inspired. I don't know if there's YouTube footage. That Gibson Birdland number 4, thanks to Tim Miller and Rick Shaw, the luthier who put my number 4 Birdland back together, and to Steve Lewis, who brought his amplifiers for me. Keith, by the hand of God, I played stuff on this guitar. I have no idea where it came from. My hands and my spirit and my fire came out, and I played a respectful melody respecting Star Spangled Banner, and the guitar made noises and feedback and overtones and frequencies that I don't know where they came from. And then I invited the great Derek St. Holmes to come up on stage with Swine on bass and Jimmy on drums. And we played a Johnny Be Good in the key of G. And it was out of body. And then I started raising hell for the Florida attitude, the Florida love, the Florida generosity for the hurricane victims and the greatest governor in America, Ron DeSantis. The place levitated. And then we played Cat Scratch Fever, and I think there was some breeding going on. I know there was some pre-rut. I created some pre-rut activity because Cat Scratch Fever, some people think it's the sexiest guitar lick in the world, and a lot of people are correct. But after Cat Scratch Fever came to an end, which it never does, I opened up the miraculous, the immaculate, the hand of God, ultimate animal breeding guitar lick ever, the love song, Stranglehold. And Derek sang that song, and I played that historical pillar of musicality guitar licks. It was unbelievable. And so my point is we didn't have time to pee. We didn't have time to hiccup. We literally made each event and each responsibility by the skin of our teeth. And then Leonard Skinner got on stage. And then, Keith, I autographed, there was about 20 guitars that all the bands, Ira Dean and Derek St. Holmes and all the members of Leonard Skinner and Brian Kelly and Tracy and all these, John Rich, the great John Rich was there. We all signed these guitars. The number 1 silent auction moneymaker for the night. I hate to brag, but it wasn't all those guitars signed by everybody. They had a guitar that they said they just wanted my signature on, and I didn't understand why. Top auction moneymaker of the night, $26,000 for a Ted Nugent autographed guitar. So once again, the love, the generosity, the support of my people. I am them. You are them, they are you, they are me, great Americans in the great city of Naples, Florida, and the great Sheriff Carmine Marchino. Somebody at Live Nation said that the great sheriff who saved lives during the hurricane, that he wasn't allowed to make a statement. I intervened, and I got Sheriff Carmine Marchino on stage where he belonged to thank the people. While the bureaucrats at Live Nation, by the way, there was a metal detector on the way into my event. I went around it, and I looked at the guy that thought he could have me walk through it, and I went, get the out of my way. I love me when I'm like that. By the way, my name is Ted Nugent. I'm in charge, and I won't tread on you, but don't you even think you're going to tread on me. Keith, it's one of the special days why God put me on this earth and didn't let that Gemsbach kill me that day, because God has plans for me, and I fulfilled them on that beautiful day in Florida.
Well, sounds like a great time, and I assure you, my friend, that there are many more days ahead where God has plans for you because we, the people, need Ted Nugent. Now, tomorrow, I want to talk to you about predator control. I want to talk about some wolves going crazy and coyotes seem to be running amok, and one brave sheepdog that did his part in predator management. We'll talk about all that tomorrow on the weekend edition of the Nightly Nooch.